Today's second video for you is first news story is from Somalia. Prime Minister of Somalia took vote of confidence today, and secondly, Villa Somalia spokesperson spoke about rumors that Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, the president of Somalia, visited Israel while Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud was in the UAE a few days ago. Second news story is from Eritrea. Eritrean Information Ministry today, its website, published an article. The writer of the article is recommending that Nakfa should be declared a pilgrimage site for Eritreans. And Eritrean Information Ministry seems to be backing this piece written by a writer whose name is Besserat Tesfaye. Third news story is from Ethiopia, viewers. In Bishoftu today, a graduation ceremony of newly trained Ethiopian Air Force pilots was held. There some drones were spotted as well. This is the first time that one particular type of drone has been seen in Ethiopia, though I have been saying that this drone was used in the war last year against Tigray Defense Force, but today a visual confirmation was reported. Two types of drones were seen during this inauguration ceremony of newly trained Air Force pilots. Fourth news story is from Debre Markos, where today students took to the streets. Fifthly, we have a news story about an OLA commander. His pictures are being shared that he has been killed in an operation by government forces. And lastly, viewers, last news story is about a Muslim scholar, Ethiopian Muslim scholar, Ustaz Abubakar, who a few hours ago spoke about killings because of ethnicity and religion, killings because of identity based on ethnicity and religion, were condemned by Ustaz Abubakar. But questions are being raised that why is that now Ustaz Abubakar is speaking? Where was he last year? Firstly, first news story is from Somalia, viewers. Hamza Abdi Bare was selected as the new Prime Minister a few days ago by Somalia's newly elected president Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud. Today, Hamza Abdi Bare took a vote of confidence, and 220 parliamentarians voted in support of Hamza Abdi Bare. No vote was cast against Hamza Abdi Bare. So he has been now approved by Somalia's parliamentarians as the new Prime Minister of Somalia. He delivered a speech as well. He addressed the parliament and he said that his priorities would be political stability, creation of political stability, security, reconciliation, public service delivery, dialogue with Somaliland, and drought. He'll focus on these areas. So Hamza Abdi Bare from Jubaland, I think, is the new Prime Minister of Somalia. Reportedly, he holds a Kenyan passport as well. Secondly, from Somalia today, Villa Somalia spokesperson rejected rumors that Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud traveled to Israel. Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, the president of Somalia, traveled to the UAE. For around a week, he was in the UAE, though it was a 2-day visit. And during his visit there, back home in Somalia, rumors were spread by some opposition-backed news outlets that Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud had flown to Israel and Somalia was going to recognize Israel as a country. So far, Israel has not been recognized by Somalia. So Villa Somalia spokesperson today, his name is Abdi Karim. He rejected all these rumors. Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud did not visit Israel, but he said that if there is any contact with Israel, it will be made public. There won't be any hidden engagements with Israel. The spokesperson did not rule out the possibility of recognizing Israel. Important thing is, it means that Somalia could be considering recognition of Israel as a country. United Arab Emirates, a close supporter, backer, financer of Somalia's newly elected government, has recognized Israel as a country. We could see it can happen in future, but so far Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud did not visit Israel, whereas Somalia has clarified. A second news story is from Eritrea. Viewers, today Eritrean Information Ministry shared an article written by Basirat Tesfaye, who seems to be a member of Tigrayan diaspora community. It seems not clear. The writer recommended that Nakfa should be a pilgrimage site like Makkah is for Muslims and Jerusalem is for other religious followers. The writer says that Nakfa holds significant importance. It is a holy place. Where is Nakfa? Nakfa is a town in northern Red Sea region of Eritrea. It was stronghold of Eritrean People Liberation Front, EPLF, when EPLF was fighting Ethiopian government. In 1977, EPLF took control of Nakfa. And after that, despite several attacks on Nakfa by Ethiopian forces, Nakfa remained under the control of EPLF, and EPLF built underground facilities in Nakfa. Ethiopian government forces could not retake Nakfa, and then in 1991, Eritrea became an independent country. This writer, Basirat Tesfaye, says that Nakfa is a holy place. So it should have religious importance, and people should visit Nakfa on pilgrimage, and Eritrean government should make it a tradition that people should visit Nakfa as a pilgrimage site, like Muslims visit Makkah or other religious followers visit Jerusalem. And Eritrean Information Ministry seems to be backing this idea. Yemane Debre Markos, Eritrean Information Minister, tweeted sharing this article, and he says that the idea floated merits consideration. Is Eritrean government going to declare Nakfa as a pilgrimage site? Let's see, but this piece could lead to religious debate as well. If Nakfa is declared a pilgrimage site, it could lead to religious debate in Eritrea, abroad as well, that yes, the place is important. It has significance for the martyrs' families, the struggle for Eritrean independence. To declare it as a pilgrimage site is something else. Will Eritrean government do it? Let's see. Thirdly, was next news story is from Ethiopia. Viewers, last year Tigray forces were threatening to reach Addis Ababa, Ethiopian capital. TDF was in Amhara, in Afar. Suddenly, combat drones were introduced by Ethiopian federal government. TDF began suffering losses, and TDF had to retreat from Amhara, from afar. TDF retreated hundreds of kilometers back into Tigray. And this battlefield position change is mainly attributed to drones. Presence of Chinese wing-long drones has been established in Ethiopia. We have seen several satellite images confirming that wing-long drones were there in Ethiopia, used by Ethiopian forces against Tigray fighters, Tigray Defense Force. But there was needed a visual confirmation about the deployment, about the use of Turkish drones as well, TB2 Turkish drones. Though we were very clear that Ethiopian government forces were using TB2 drones, the way strikes were being conducted, very precise strikes. So I was of this position. I had this opinion last year as well that TB2 drones were in operation, keeping in view what I saw in Libya, in Azerbaijan, Armenia war, in Syria, Turkey war. I said last year that TB2s were in operation. Now we have visual confirmation that TB2 drones are in Ethiopia for several months. Last year the drones were in use. Today in Bishoftu, Oromia region, a graduation ceremony was held of newly trained Air Force pilots of Ethiopian Air Force, and the ceremony was attended by Ethiopian President Sahle-Work, Ethiopian Army Chief Birhanu Jula was there, Yilma Mirdasa, Ethiopian Air Chief was there, diplomats were there as well, and 2 drones were spotted during this inauguration ceremony. You can see the 2 drones on your screen, the pictures. First picture shows a Chinese wing-long drone. It's wing-long 1, I think. And second picture, very clear, it shows Bayraktar TB2 drones. It means that Turkish TB2 Bayraktar drones have been in operation in Ethiopia. This is the first visual confirmation about these drones, TB2 drones, being in the use of Ethiopian government forces. Last year, some flights were tracked between a Turkish airport, which is known for supplying drones, and Ethiopian Air Force base. And then the way strikes were being conducted, it showed that TB2s were in operation. So today, a confirmation, not a revelation for me, that Ethiopian Air Force is in possession of both Chinese wing-long and Turkish TB2 drones. Fourthly, viewers, we have a new story from Debre Markos, Amhara region of Ethiopia. Students of Debre Markos University took to the streets today. This is the 3rd student protest in Ethiopia in recent days against Valaga massacre. Almost a week ago, hundreds of innocent civilians were killed in Gimbi, Valaga. Since then, we are seeing condemnation. We're seeing protests in Ethiopia and out of Ethiopia as well. In Gondar, we saw a large demonstration yesterday. Thousands of students, teachers, university staff held demonstration in Gondar. Then today, earlier in the day, students of Addis Ababa University took the streets of Addis Ababa. Police used force as several students were arrested. Some were injured as well in Addis Ababa. And now, 3rd student protest in Ethiopia, that Debre Markos University student protests have been seen protesting in Debre Markos, and they are protesting outside the university. Like we saw in Addis Ababa, that students came out of university and they protested on the streets of Addis Ababa. Perhaps that is why police took action, police used force. The protest was dispersed and students were arrested. Then we saw a statement from some parties, especially Nama spoke. Tahir Muhammad is the spokesperson of National Movement of Amharas, and in a statement he said that the action taken against students today is unjustified. They have a right to protest, and the government should be focused on bringing those to justice who are involved in Valaga massacre. Instead, government forces, police used force against protesters, protesting students in Addis Ababa. Now we are seeing the protest in Debre Markos. Of course, no use of force there. Debre Markos is in Gajam, Amhara region. Watch this clip showing students protesting in Debre Markos. Fifthly, viewers, pictures of an OLA commanders are being shared that he has been killed in an operation. We know that after Valaga massacre, PM Abiy announced to start crackdown on those elements involved in Valaga incident. Around more than a month ago, we saw a new offensive against Oromo Liberation Army across Oromia. But after this offensive, OLA attacked Gimbi, OLA attacked Dembi Dolo and Gambala as well. Now a new operation against Oromo Liberation Army is underway, and this commander has been killed reportedly. No statement from Oromo Liberation Army confirming the death of this OLA commander. You can see his picture on your screen. This picture is being shared that this commander has been killed in an operation by Ethiopian government forces. We are waiting for confirmation from OLA side. What is OLA's position? We'll update you in coming videos. But a new phase of military operation against Oromo Liberation Army is underway. Can OLA withstand this new operation? That remains to be seen. We have seen that in the past several such operations have been conducted, but OLA is mixed up with the people of Oromia. How will you distinguish between civilians in Oromia and OLA fighters? These fighters could be common civilians in the day and OLA fighters at night. So it's difficult to separate OLA and civilians, and they have close links with civilians. Civilians back them, support them, because all day they live with civilians. It does not mean that we are backing civilian killings, backing attacks on civilians. Yes, the government must protect civilians. But whenever there is this type of situation, when fighters are mingling up with civilians, it's difficult to separate them and to eliminate this type of group. That is why we're seeing that government's operations against OLA have not been largely successful. OLA is still a force to reckon with in the Oromia region of Ethiopia. Lastly, viewers, a Muslim scholar of Ethiopia a few hours ago spoke about civilian killings because of ethnic and religious identity. His name is Ustaz Abubakar. In a video, he condemned. He said that in Tigray, in Valaga, Amhara, Gambala, people are being killed because of their ethnic and religious identity. It should not happen. If it continues, God's punishment will be inflicted. People will face God's punishment. Now, people are raising questions about these remarks of Ustaz Abubakar, that what he's saying is very commendable. Where was he last year when Tigrayans were being ethnically profiled? They were being detained. Did you hear anything from Ustaz Abubakar? Now, when Muslims are being killed in Gondar, in Valaga, Amharas are being killed, Ustaz Abubakar is speaking for civilians. Where was he last year? Very valid question. Yes, I would back such questions. Ustaz Abubakar should have spoken last year as well, when common Tigrayans were being ethnically profiled. Ethnic profiling, ethnic cleansing was committed, and we know that hundreds, thousands rather, are still in detention camps in Afar, perhaps in Oromia too. Did Ustaz Abubakar ever speak against detention of Tigrayans? No, I did not hear. If someone has heard anything from Abubakar, please do share with me.